Star Wars jacket expected to fetch up to £1 million or $1.3 million at auction. Jesus, all that money and it doesn't even have a hood.
He's worth a lot to me.
The Empire will compensate you.
How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. So, I see these articles pop up from time to time, and I always enjoy reading them and seeing what people are willing to pay for rare items from Star Wars, and really any geeky kind of franchise that's been around for a while and has a legion of nostalgic fans willing to shell out big bucks to own an authentic piece of whatever franchise they connect with, and highly value. So obviously there's Star Wars, there's Aliens, there's Predator, there's Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, The Matrix. All of these big franchises. There's a lot of items that from time to time they're either from the movies or they're merchandise that was released in limited runs, whatever the case may be. They find their way back onto the market from a collector who's looking to part with them. So it could be an auction, a public auction, a private auction. Sometimes items show up on eBay, and they're either put up for a big buy it now price, or they let them go to a bidding war. And it's always fascinating to see what people end up paying for these types of things. So a couple of weeks ago, I covered an article about a rare Star Wars action figure collection being auctioned off that was estimated to possibly bring in $360,000 or even more once it was all said and done. And these were production pieces from Kenner back in the 70s that were actually hand painted and glued together by the artisans who created them when they were making prototypes before these figures actually hit the market. And then there were also rare figures that had runs in like Canada. So the blister card was in 2 languages, and it was a mint condition piece. So all these rare types of items, they little action figures like that get $15,000 plus. So I figured in that video that I did, I'll put a link for it in the description down below, but that got a fair response. I mean, it really didn't get any more views than any other of my lower viewed videos gets, but what it did do is it brought a couple of different eyes here to my channel that might not ordinarily take a look and glance in and see what's going on. And the people that are just subscribers, they seem to respond pretty well to it. So I figured, why not make this a running series here, and we'll call it The Price of Nostalgia. And basically we'll just cover, if there's anything that pops up Star Wars related that seems to be a big ticket item, I'll give it a little spotlight and we'll talk about it a little bit, and who knows, maybe somebody out there actually will take a stab at it and bid on the item and win it, or make the purchase. And it could be anything from a few $100s to a couple of $100,000, but I'll just throw it out there, and we'll see what comes of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed that updated introduction that I did. And every time you see that, you'll know that it is part of the Price of Nostalgia series. And that's what you can expect in those videos going forward. So without further ado, let's jump into this article. So this is coming to us from BBC.com. And again, it says Star Wars jacket expected to fetch up to £1 million at auction, or $1.3 million. I'll do the conversions for people watching at home in America. And if you're from anywhere else on the globe, then you'll have to figure it out yourself. Sorry about that. So there's the jacket to one of the greatest movies in cinematic history, and certainly, in my opinion, the greatest of the Star Wars franchise, Empire Strikes Back, won by Han Solo, Harrison Ford in that movie, and I think it's Harrison Ford's also best performance as that character in the Star Wars franchise. I think all of the characters in that movie really were just they had the most depth to them, and all of the actors' performances were at their best for that franchise. If it's so weird because A New Hope definitely was lightning in a bottle, and for some reason, The Empire Strikes Back took that and it just gave it a boost. Like it got struck by lightning again. It was like double lightning in a bottle. So it's crazy that they could get that 2 times in a row, the way that they did, and that franchise just really took off. So anything that's coming from this franchise and this movie in particular is going to be worth a lot of money. So it says the jacket worn by Harrison Ford when he played Han Solo in Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back is expected to fetch £1 million at auction next month. The garment is one of 600 lots going under the hammer at the movie memorabilia event in London. Marty McFly's Back to the Future 2 hoverboard and Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands costume are also on sale. Very cool items. Auction House Prop Store said the sale would include some of the most iconic cinematic artifacts of our time. Star Wars fans will be able to bid for a Stormtrooper helmet from A New Hope, which is expected to fetch up to £60,000 or $78,000. There's Harrison Ford in his jacket with no hood or zipper. A similar helmet from the most recent film, The Last Jedi, could raise up to £50,000 or $65,000, the auction house said, with profits from that going to charity, the NSPCC. A lightsaber wielded by Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith is likely to draw bids of up to £100,000 or $130,000. We could just go back a second here. I would say between these two helmets here, this Stormtrooper helmet from A New Hope, they said it's going to go up to £60,000 or $78,000. And they're pricing this one from The Last Jedi at $50,000 or £50,000, $65,000. I gotta think there's got to be a wider gap between these two helmets. I mean, this is a movie. I wouldn't even say this is from The Last Jedi. I would say it's from A Force Awakens. But this is a movie that is swirling in controversy, and this is from the beloved movie that started the whole thing. I would think if this doesn't fetch more than they're approximating, this has got to fetch less. There's got to be a wider gap between these two helmets. It can't be a difference of £10,000. In my personal opinion. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Anyway, let's move forward here. I mean, this makes me crazy if that's the case. I'm dying to see what this ends up being. Okay, so in June, a blaster used by Ford in Return of the Jedi sold at auction in New York for $550,000. I wasn't able to make that auction, so I couldn't place my bid. It was here in New York. The upcoming auction will be held at the BFI IMAX in London, where the items will be on display for the public to view from September 6th to the 20th. So any of my friends from across the pond, if you can make it on over there, check these items out. They're going to be there. Here's some of the other stuff that's going to be on display at the BFI IMAX in London. So we can see right here we have a baseball cap and a helmet, and there's props used by Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump and Saving Private Ryan are among the 600 lots. So it's a Bubba Gump shrimp hat and his helmet. And we have Harrison Ford's fedora and whip from Indiana Jones, very cool. And Marty McFly's hoverboard from Back to the Future 2 are also for sale. My brother would love this. He's a big Back to the Future fan. I'm dying to know what this ends up going for as well. And here we have Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands costume, Christopher Reeve's Superman costume, and that is Spike from the Michael Jackson Moonwalker movie. So all very cool items that are going up for bid. Prop Store said the whip used by Ford and Indiana Jones in Temple of Doom is poised to sell between 50,000 and 70,000 pounds, so $65,000 to $91,000, while his fedora from the Raiders of the Lost Ark is expected to sell between 200,000 and 300,000 pounds, so that's $260,000 to $390,000. That is insane. That is so much money for a hat. You thought the jacket was pricey. At least that covers your whole body. This just goes on your head. I guess you need this because the jacket doesn't have a hood. Other film items up for sale include the robe worn by Brad Pitt as Tyler Durden in Fight Club. Love that movie. It's a favorite of mine. As well as Forrest Gump's bubblegum shrimp hat worn by Tom Hanks alongside Johnny Depp's Edward Scissorhands clothing will be the other costumes, including the Superman outfit worn by Christopher Reeve and the outfit worn by Spike in Michael Jackson's 1988 film Moonwalker. So all very cool items. Definitely, if you guys are over there in London and you're seeing this video, go ahead and check out those items that are up on display at the BFI IMAX in London. I think it's worth taking a look at. I mean, this is all very cool movie memorabilia stuff. So that's article number 1. Let's go jump into this next article. Okay, so now we're at the New York Post, and this article comes to us by way of the Associated Press. And it says, rare Star Wars poster sells for over $26,000. And again, it's something linked to The Empire Strikes Back. Anything with this movie is going to fetch big dollars, big dollars. So this is the poster that's sold. It says, a rare draft poster for the Star Wars sequel, The Empire Strikes Back, has sold at auction for $26,400. Heritage Auctions says a longtime pop culture collector who wished to remain anonymous made the win and bid Sunday in the Dallas auction. The poster features Han Solo and Princess Leia in an embrace similar to the one from a Gone with the Wind poster featuring Rhett Butler carrying Scarlett O'Hara while surrounded by flames. Gray Smith, Heritage's director of vintage posters, says the draft poster for the 1980 movie The Empire Strikes Back is unique because it shows Roger Castell's complete artwork in the original color palette. After final revisions, the poster had a darker color scheme than the draft's vibrant reds and oranges. It was also more streamlined with fewer characters. So we can see here's the difference. Here's the poster we got, and here was the original version of it, and you can see the darker reds and more vibrant colors. And as far as characters missing, you can see we have Lando down here with Boba Fett, and this is one of the P-Tower laser cannons from the Battle of Hoth. And also we can see here Cloud City is not in this version, and it's kind of interesting what changes they make. This is a really cool poster. It kind of looks weird. It looks like Lando is shooting the Tauntaun in the foot. So maybe that's one of the reasons why that got nixed. And I don't know, the placement of Boba Fett and this blaster over here. Maybe they just thought it was kind of weird. Keeping Cloud City wouldn't have been a bad idea. But, you know, still, this is a beautiful poster with what they ended up with. And it's pretty awesome that this guy was able to get this original draft with all of these different colors. This is a really, really nice piece of memorabilia to have in your collection. It's a little pricey, a little out of my price range, but a little bit more attainable than a $1.3 million jacket or a $250,000 hat. So very cool nonetheless. And let's go into the final thing, and that's going to be a little bit more within, I think, most people's price ranges, even though it's actually still fairly costly. I think some of the people watching this video could actually maybe take a stab at it. So let's jump over to the final item. Okay, so our final stop takes us on over to none other than eBay, where you can find plenty of memorabilia and collectibles and a wallet to match, regardless of what you're looking 64, you could probably find something that suits your budget. And this thing here is pretty cool. It's a rare Nintendo 64 Rogue Squadron hang-in store display. This game came out for the Nintendo 64 late 1998, early 99. This gentleman or lady who is selling this store display here, they're looking for a buy it now price of $199. So it's not that bad, all things considered. If you're really into Star Wars and you love this game and you're a big Nintendo fan, I mean, this kind of covers a lot of bases. I was always a Sega guy myself, so you know, I never had this game for the Nintendo 64. I never had a Nintendo 64. Well, I had one for a moment and then I sold it pretty quickly. But you know, for big Nintendo fans and Star Wars fans, this might be something that's really cool to kind of have in your man cave or something like that. And read the description really quick. You are bidding on a rare Nintendo 64 Star Wars Rogue Squadron hang-in store display. These would hang in stores to help promote the game. It measures roughly 19 inches wide by 19 inches tall. It is made of hard styrofoam material with Star Wars images on the front and back. It has an X-Wing fighter that is pushed through the middle. The X-Wing just looks like a normal issued X-Wing. A lot of the stickers are peeling off or missing from the X-Wing fighter. The display has a hole on the top so it can be hung. There is some bubbling and creasing on the display. Check all pics for better idea of condition. The X-Wing will be removed for shipping purposes. So let's go back up here, and you guys can go to eBay and check out this auction yourself, but we'll look at the pictures really quickly here. So you can see here's the display, and it really does look to be in pretty good condition. I mean, this is almost 20 years old now, so given the guy's description, it seems to look not too bad. I mean, you could see here on the nose of the X-Wing there is some peeling of the stickers, but I mean, you can get those back on there fairly easy. Let's see, there's the back end of it. A pretty cool concept, and this would be hanging in the store when you went in. And this is just showing some of the wear along the edges. Okay. There seems to be a crease. This is where the X-Wing comes through the sheet. And this is showing, I guess, some of the bubbling on the board. Okay. And yeah, it looks like a pretty cool toy that was used as part of a prop for a display piece. And here's some of the bubbling at the edge. But all in all, a pretty cool throwback memorabilia piece to have. And 19 by 19 inches, I mean, it's not all that big, so for something like this you could pick it up for $200 if you're really into Star Wars and you want something that's kind of unique, and you had this game and you loved it and you still have your N64 hooked up you know, in a rec room or a man cave or whatever the case may be. It might be something that's worth going ahead and picking up and putting on display, and your friends come on over and be like, oh my god, I remember that thing when it was in the stores. That's really, really cool, man. Where did you get it? So I don't know, go ahead and check it out. You can just type in the description here and it'll take you right to it. So that's pretty much it, guys. So that is I guess this would be considered episode 2, even though I didn't realize the first video I did like this was going to be in episode 1. But this is officially episode 2 of The Price of Nostalgia. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you know, I enlightened you onto some of the going-ons in the world of Star Wars memorabilia and what's out there. And you know, if anybody ends up going over to eBay and making this purchase, let me know in the comments down below. And you know, again, feel free to comment on anything that you saw in this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If this is your first time here, please feel free to subscribe. There'll be more videos like this coming in the future. And you know, if you want, go ahead and hit that little bell, and once I put up another video, you'll be alerted to that. And that's all I got for today, guys. So thank you for stopping by and watching. As always, it's greatly appreciated. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be happy, be safe, be healthy. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
He's worth a lot to me.
The Empire will compensate you.